beautiful country. I can't wait to go. And Hexigetu really has looked impressive his last 3 matches here. And it's because of this. It's his ability to take people down and just dominate. His ground control is very, very good. He is able to take the match where he wants it and then keep it there. And he just really puts a relentless pace on his opponents, attacking submissions, beating them up with ground and pound, and really out-scrambling and outworking his opponents in every single area. I'm really interested in this matchup because Lito Adiwang is so explosive, and he's always attacking that Kimura, so I'm interested to see how Hexigetu deals with that. But the keys to success for Hexigetu in this matchup are going to be continually attacked with the takedowns. We want to see him put a ferocious pace on Adiwang, but not stand there and bang with it, because Lito Adiwang, as you're about to see, has that one-punch power.
Can you bring it tonight? The Wolf of the Grasslands from Inner Mongolia, flying the Chinese flag. And will it be flying high against the Thunder Kid, Lito Adiwang? What are the keys to victory going to be tonight for the Chinese athlete Hexigetu? And this man is capable of doing the spectacular, like rolling cartwheels for likes, Dragon.
Yeah, he's got to close that distance, but he's got to do it carefully because of that power that Lito Adiwang carries. And once he gets the takedown, he needs to keep it. So he has to be very careful to control the hips of Adiwang, because Adiwang is extremely explosive and will just burst out of positions. But then, once he gets control, he needs to start being active, right? He needs to attack with the ground and pound, and then start looking for submissions as well, because Adiwang is very good at reversing those positions. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. I spoke to Hexigetu, and he says he wants the takedown, but he wants the knockout as well.
Representing the Philippines, Lito Thunder Kid Adiwang.
The Thunder Kid, Lito Adiwang. You talk about rampaging aggression, and this man is it. And Mitch, we've got a bona fide battle of the mullets going on in this one. The 2 biggest mullets in one championship showdown in this contest.
You know, I love Lito Adiwang. I think he's a very stylish individual, but did you see the mullet, the hairdo?
It was like a glorious horse's mane on Hexigetu.
With a name like the Wolf of the Grasslands, you gotta win that first battle. You gotta win the mullet battle. But the thing about Lito Adiwang that makes him as special as that mullet is his aggression. This guy is a firecracker. He has this explosive finishing instinct in him that once he gets you, he is trying to put it on you. Look at that. He can go forward and he can go back. The way that he landed that check left hook was a thing of beauty. I really enjoy Lito Adiwang. He is a very, very explosive athlete. And, you know, coming from Team Lakay, you know he's going to have the striking. But we've seen that Lito Adiwang has a very good ground game as well. He likes to attack those submissions, but he has to manage the gas tank. That's going to be one of his biggest keys to victory. In the middle of the match, we start to see him fade as the match went on, Mike.
Dragon, chances of this one going the full 3 rounds?
I think it's actually pretty high.
Really?
Because of the fact that Hexigetu is so tough. I think that he can take a good punch, and I think this is going to be a really interesting grappling matchup, but you know, I've been wrong before when it comes to predicting those types of things. Both these guys got power.
Wow, interesting call there from the Dragon, Mitch Chilson. Let's take a look how they stack up. Anyway, it should be an exciting contest in the strawweight division. It's China's Hexigetu from Inner Mongolia take on Lito Adiwang from Baguio in the Philippines. This one under our global rule set. Knees to the head of a grounded opponent are legal. For more, let's go to Tom Lau.
And now, this next match is 3 rounds of 5 minutes in a 1 strawweight mixed martial arts contest. Introducing first, out of the blue corner, he stands at 100 martial arts record of 9 wins and 4 losses. Training out of China Top Team and Wolfsband China, representing China. Please welcome Wolf of the Grasslands, Hexigetu. Introducing his opponent out of the red corner. He stands at 162 centimeters tall, holding a mixed martial arts record of 12 wins and 3 losses. Training out of Team Lakay, representing the Philippines. Introducing to you, Lito Adiwang. When the action begins, your referee in charge, Mr. Justin Brown.
Athlete center. Guys, you both know the rules. We'll have a clean match. Obey my commands at all times. Watch the back of the head. Don't touch the spine. Watch the low blows. Touch gloves if you want. Back up.
The crowd were loud during Don Lau's introductions. A limited crowd that I'm told was sold out in a matter of minutes when tickets were released a couple of weeks ago for this one. Inside the Singapore Indoor Stadium, will Hexigetu of China or Lito Adiwang of the Philippines open up the striking like a whirling dervish here in the first round? Orthodox stance on both men. Lots of movement early on from Hexigetu. Tight red trunks on Hexigetu, the traditional Team Lakay red on Adiwang. There's a front kick from Lito. Has the height and reach, does Lito Adiwang.
Hexigetu's on the move. You can see him moving laterally, moving front and back. He's a little bit tentative to engage in a stand-up of Lito Adiwang, and that's perfectly understandable, especially because Adiwang's got such good check counter shots to deter those takedowns.
Let's go.
Hexigetu needs to put something together here.
Adiwang inching forward. Roundhouse kick, and he got airborne on it too. Adiwang goes to the body. Here he comes now. Lito with the heavy artillery.
That's the danger of Lito Adiwang. I did not expect him to throw that flying knee like that, but it's something he's definitely got. He's got heavy kicks as well.
Look how he's cutting off the cage, cutting off the movement of Hexigetu. Right hand lead, right hand again, plows through the guard from Adiwang. House on fire, and he calls Hexigetu forward. Hexigetu not taking the bait though, Dragon.
Adiwang is feeling it, carrying his hands down by his side with that
Beautifully done from Lito Adiwang. Get what you need, tries to fold him in half. And he shrugs him off.
You can see how Lito Adiwang puts every single ounce of power he has into each one of these shots. He's trying to end your night as quickly as possible. Hexigetu's got to be careful. Slow this down a little bit. Utilize some punches. Close the distance with that jab. Get tight.
Hexigetu though, Dragon, looks unfazed. He's taking some knocks so far. He's unfazed.
Hexigetu is tough. He's got an ironclad chin, but he does not want to test it against the power of Lito Adiwang.
Hexigetu, what will he find to get on the inside of Lito Adiwang?
See, Lito operates in these bursts, right? He goes fast. Slows things down, right? This is what Hexigetu needed. Ooh, good takedown defense. That's got to boost Adiwang's confidence even more.
Crack of the shins just pummeling into the midsection and hitting the forearms of Hexigetu. Faint there from Adiwang.
Lito Adiwang wakes up every morning and just chooses violence. He looks really happy just to be inside there. Look at him. He looks smiling, and he's just enjoying himself to the fullest.
Cracks away to the guts again, this Lito Adiwang. Smiling, Hexigetu's tapping his stomach, going, come on, try it again. Try and hit these washboard abs again with that round kick. And Lito accepts the challenge.
I don't know if Hexigetu wants to tempt fate like this. I think he needs to change that strategy. But I like that. Counter the shot. Counter that kick with a big old left hand to yours.
It's smart because if he can get it to commit to that rear leg ground kick to the midsection, he knows he can counter over the top. Let's see if Lito takes the bait. On the outside, Hexigetu. Controlling centre circle, jumping knee, and a single leg here from Hexigetu, hoping for a takedown.
Yeah, Lito Adiwang's figuring out that timing of the takedown of Hexigetu. Hexigetu's got to be careful with that. He can't just rush in like that with the takedown because that knee has come remarkably close. That's twice now that he's thrown that thing.
Lito sitting the right hand, grinning at him like a Cheshire cat.
You mentioned it earlier, Michael, the way that Lito Adiwang cuts off the cage. You can see how Hexigetu tries to move to his left, and then Adiwang goes to his right to cut that angle and make sure he pins him exactly where he wants.
Only one loss in his last 9 bouts for Adiwang. Wants to rejoin the strawweight rankings. Former member of the Philippines national wushu team. One of Team Lakay's second-generation stars, 28 years old, Lito Adiwang.
Even in that loss, Michael, Adiwang was really good. He had that deep Kimura, almost detached middle of his arm from his body. He has really good submissions as well as this beautiful striking style too. He loves the Kimura.
Hexigetu looking for his 4th consecutive victory after a huge win over former world champions Hexigetu Stramnoy Sirichok. A victory could be enough to push the Chinese athlete into the top 5 rankings.
Let's go, action!
It looks like we are going to move into the second round. Folks, don't forget, we have broadcast to 154 countries around the world tonight. One championship revolution, our main card, triple main event, 3 world titles.
Look at that knee on the entry. Hexigetu came in, took that step forward. Adiwang tagged him with a knee. Then he comes flying through the air with the greatest of ease. With a big roundhouse to the body. That caught him right underneath the arm. He's been connected on knees. I just think he has to find a little bit better accuracy with some of these. He could put Hexigetu's lights out, but Hexigetu is ultra tough, has a good chin and a giant gas tank. And this is what we saw with Minowa matchup against Adiwang. Is Adiwang empties his gas tank in the 1st and 2nd round, and then as the match goes on, he slowly starts to fade. So maybe that's Hexigetu's game plan. He says he wanted the takedown, but he's been denied 3 times already from Adiwang's stellar defense.
Second round, hope you're enjoying all the action live from Singapore. Big hello to Chris B, watching in Tampa, Florida. Folks, let us know on social media at One Championship. Who do you have winning this one so far? Importantly, who wins the Battle of the Mullets here? My God, they're both glorious, Mitch. If only I had been there.
Adiwang's starting to grow into his mullet too. Let's get big more out of his back, man.
It's the Rapunzel style. Fake there from Hexigetu. Nice high left round kick.
The takedown defense of Adiwang is so good that Hexigetu might get drawn into a striking battle here, and that is not where he wants to be with Adiwang. He has to find a way to make this thing ugly. He has to earn that respect and kind of come forward, because you can see that he's just on the back foot. He's just backing up, and then Adiwang's going to try to trap him against the wall and do that. Land those body kicks, land those big shots, and ultimately look for that big right hand, too. He's got a marvelous right punch.
Hexigetu's tapping his stomach again, challenging Lito Adiwang to round kick him in the midsection, which Lito's been doing very effectively so far.
Another great ponytail, Tong Po.
Michael Kissing. Well, you know, speaking of Brett Mullets, there's a guy backstage at the moment named Joshua Pasho who's probably hearing this and saying, hold my beer. I'll be out shortly to defend my strawweight world title. Another great mullet.
Pasha doesn't have a mullet.
Doesn't anymore.
No.
He got rid of it.
He never had a mullet.
Yes, he did. You go back and have a look.
I'm thinking of Kelly Bellinon.
Have a look at the way that Adiwang is cutting off the circle. Again, fires the high right round kick. Fake again from Hexigetu. There's lots of movement here, Dragon, from the man from Inner Mongolia, but he's not committing enough. He's not putting the points down, Hexigetu, I feel.
Every time he engages, Adiwang makes him pay for it. he's punishing with those body kicks. I know Hexigetu was trying to play the mind games and say let's go, but Adiwang's been able to really land successfully with that right leg over and over again.
Good step through a knee off the right leg here. Look at Adiwang pointed to him and said, "Gotcha." They are having a good time in the circle, as are we watching this one. And some good action here in the second round. Inside leg kick from Adiwang.
Well, I think Adiwang's having a better time in there because he's the one that's landing a little bit more, actually a lot more shots on Hexigetu. Hexigetu's got to do something here.
Okay, Mitch, so play coach, what are you telling the Chinese athlete to do?
He's got to earn some respect, and that respect is going to come from his hands and closing the distance.
Let's go.
You can see he's just circling to his left, and what's that doing? That's circling in to that power kick of Adiwang. He's got to go forward, change things up, maybe start circling to the other side. I know Adiwang's got a very dangerous left hook, but he's not going the right way.
Look at the intensity now. The way these two are grunting each other, smiling at each other, they throw these devastating techniques. It's like watching an old martial arts film. That's great dragon.
Just enamored with the hair. I think that's the deal with this. I know you like the striking and all, but I think the hair's got you.
You know, I'm enamored by anyone with hair. I've had it for about 26 years.
I do like the way he's attacking the inside leg too. He's going to the body, he's going to the leg. Hexigetu's got good defense up top, but he is scoring successfully with the inside leg kicks and the body kicks as well. Hexigetu tried to throw an inside leg kick of his own, but it looks like he caught him a little bit high. Got to take another look at it. Yeah, as Hexigetu was trying, looks like he was trying to go to the body there. Not the inside of the leg, but caught him.
Chance for me to tell you about the groin strikes, the ridiculously high number of sensory nerve endings in the groin. It makes it, well, even the slightest touch, very noticeable. As we're seeing from Lito Adiwang at the moment, the pain radiates up the abdomen, which is known as referred pain. Like I guess when you get a headache from eating ice cream too fast, the same sort of pain. What happens is that the injury time comes into play now where he is allowed 5 minutes for medical examination and recovery. Another replay here. Pain travels from the groin up the perennial wards.
That statement is obvious. It's the most obvious comment you've ever tried to give us with your explanations.
You know, just trying to be relatable for the fans at home, Dragon.
I'm sure they were very curious.
Some people may have never experienced a groin strike for themselves.
Now they
Let
know.
alone one from Hexigetu.
Now they know it hurts.
One kick there from Hexigetu, who still needs to commit a whole lot more here. Look at the probing, the boring of the lead arm, the range-finding lead arm here of Lito Adiwang. Hexigetu trying to counter over the top there.
Range finding, that's exactly it. Hexigetu's having a very hard time with the distance and finding his range. He is still operating in the distance of Adiwang's kicks. He hasn't been able to find it. Look at that. He closes the distance and boom, there's that left hook. He's bewildered out there. He's bewitched. He's just like hypnotized by Adiwang's movement and circular, basically power he's throwing.
Good, let's go.
Good round kick. Oh, no, it wasn't. Went too low again. Another groin strike.
Injury time. Injury time.
Opportunity for me, Drake, to tell you more about groin strikes.
I think we need a further breakdown of those nerve endings.
We'll tell you that when you get hit in the groin, nerve signals get launched to the brain at a speed of around 265 miles an hour.
Now we're going to take a look at it.
Here we go. 265 miles an hour. Yellow card's out. Yellow card is out by referee Justin Brown. Tell us what happens with a yellow card, Dragon.
Got to control your weapons, and Hexigetu will lose 10% of his purse with the yellow card, and the yellow card can't be factored into the scores as well. So he's got to be very careful throwing that inside leg kick. He's got to understand the distance a little bit, throwing that managed power as well. He comes immediately out with the flying kicks.
Two illegal groin strikes in this round by Hexigetu on Lito Adiwang. Adiwang flying front kick, little tapping overhand right, and he smiles at him, said, I gotcha. Flying side kick. More of those martial arts movie moves from Lito Adiwang. Quite an entertaining contest, Dragon.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a delay with the groin shots, but that's all part of the game. But what we are seeing is a very calculated strategy coming from Lito Adiwang. He's got the distance down. He knows exactly where he wants to move Adiwang, and that's circling him to his power side. I think Hexigetu needs to change things up. He cannot keep circling to his left, drifting into that power side, because he's just going to keep running into those kicks of Adiwang. I wouldn't mind seeing Adiwang start putting combinations together, rather than just throwing one big quick kick, put the hands together, then throw the kick, then go back to the hands, and maybe even try to take Hexigetu down.
Now, Dragon, at the start of the contest, you spoke about possible gas tank problems for Lito Adiwang. From what you see, is he experiencing any of those problems at the moment?
So far, no, because a lot of those problems, especially in the middle match, came from the grappling exchanges, and we're not seeing that. You know, Adiwang has had a lot of experience inside striking, so this is playing right into his wheelhouse. This is exactly where he wants to keep the match on the feet. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a takedown here coming from Adiwang, just to change things up, because I think he could get it if he did try it.
Adiwang opening up with a 3-2 combination off the hands. The position we've seen so far for most of this contest, Adiwang dominating center circle, pushing Hexigetu to the outside.
So you can see now Hexigetu start to move to his right, which is a better shot.
No, not again. Tell us more. Running in a groin strike to regale you with Dragon, but is it going to be a red card this time? Is it going to be another yellow card? Would it be a 20% purse deduction?
Could issue another card. It's coming from like Adiwang attacking, right? So he's kind of coming into it. He's not really trying to hit the groin. He's not. It's because of that distance problem that he's having. He hasn't quite found his range.
When you see a fighter get struck in the groin, there's a second yellow card. You'll often see them clutch their stomach. The reason being that the area shares pain receptors with the groin. That's why they clench their stomach often. That's my other interesting groin strike fact for the night. So 2 yellow cards, that's 20%, 1/5 of the person Hexigetu gone.
Yeah.
I dare say it's one more and he's out of here completely.
Well, it really depends on, Adiwang. That's 3 now. You spoke about the gas tank problems, and, it's definitely starting to accumulate. You have a very hard time kind of coming back from these, and he seems to be taking longer and longer after each one of these. They're very...
How many times were you hit the groin in one of your fights? What was the most?
Bad story, man. I got kneed in the cup, and the cup cracked. It's that bad. I threw up.
But even though you got the cup on, you still feel the pain, right?
Yeah, that's why the Tide cups are so much better.
The steel ones?
Yes, right, exactly. They're steel. So the plastic ones, it still reverberates. It's like you said, it's a nerve thing. It's very sensitive, and it's the most painful thing. It's worse than a liver shot.
Worse than a liver shock.
Worse than a liver shot, because a liver shot just shuts down your body.
Right.
That's pain you have to live with.
Right.
It doesn't go away. You still have to, keep fighting.
So, Lito Adiwang still recovering here. He has allowed the duration of 1 round, up to 5 minutes for medical attention and recovery. Now he's back to his feet, which is good, and it looks like we are going to recommence here. What a tough warrior. Here's the thunder hit, Lito Adiwang. Here we go. Lito's ready to go. Front kick immediately forces Hexigetu back. Again, this similar position they've been in for most of the contest. Flying side kick. A little bit of Rick Rufus style in there from Lito Adiwang, getting airborne.
Yeah, Lito likes to take to the air, man. He's looking for the flying push kick. I like to see him stay kind of grounded and just throw big shots. Throw more than one punch, more than one kick. Really start putting things together. I know Hexigetu's very active and circling out the outside of that circle right there. You can see how he's moving to a better side. Now he's not drifting into the power side of Adiwang. Now he's moving to his right, and that's important to avoid the power, especially with the kicks. But Hexigetu has also switched stances as well, so now he's going conventional. So his right hand is in the rear, so it's a different look for Adiwang.
Hexigetu, who grew up wrestling in his native Inner Mongolia, later added sander techniques to his arsenal. As Adiwang threatens to get airborne again. Make it a caution from referee Justin Brown if we don't see some more engagement here, particularly from Hexigetu. Not really throwing anything. Lots of movement on the outside from the Inner Mongolian, but there's a failed attempt at an inside leg kick. Shoots in for a low takedown. Good defense and a nice uppercut up the right hand there from Lito.
It's the range, Michael. He's at the end of Adiwang's kicking range, and that's why Adiwang has been able to land so many kicks on Hexigetu, because Hexigetu's not approaching the boxing range, and Adiwang can't kind of cover that distance, so it's just the kicks constantly, over and over, attacking the legs, attacking the body, and to cover that distance, Adiwang will actually jump up into the air to try to get closer to Hexigetu, but Hexigetu is moving a lot.
Adiwang really does represent that new breed of fighters from the fading Team Lakay, the team that at one stage held 4 of a possible 8 men's world championships at one. Of course, at a time in 2018 when the Philippines had 5 of a possible 8 men's world champions, the 5th being Brandon Vera when he held the heavyweight world title.
Yeah, Michael, I'd go as far as to say that Team Lakay is one of the super gyms that just doesn't get nearly enough credit. They have a tremendous team.
I can't think of another gym anywhere in the world that's had 4 world champions in an organization.
Let's go. And I would say like 90% of those guys are homegrown athletes that Mark Santio has raised their entire fighting careers. And imports like Adiwang stay. They understand the community, the family that's there, and also the level of the training that they got. And they really develop. Adiwang is a beast. Nice uppercut there landed as Hexigetu tried to come in.
Do you sense any frustration here on the Wolf from the Grasslands?
I definitely think it's there. I know he's smiling, having a good time, egging Adiwang on, but it's the distance. He just can't seem to manage it as well as Adiwang can. And he can't get the takedown. That's where he excels. That's where he's gotten his path to victory in the past 3 wins. He's looked really good in his past 3 matches against DSA. He looked tremendous. He really had a great performance because he was able to get the takedown and outwork Dej on the ground.
There's a groin strike in return from Lito Adiwang there. 3 versus 1 in the groin strike stakes. Don't know if that was a necessarily hard one, but it did connect to the place where Hexigetu did not want to be connected. So a little bit of a break for recovery here. He has allowed 5 minutes for recovery is Hexigetu, as Lito is not allowed to go to his corner, though he is glancing over at his corner. And it looks like we are recommencing here.
Let's go!
Purely accidental, there's nothing malicious in it. All the athletes from Team Lakay are gentlemen. You will not find a more gentlemanly gym than Team Lakay. And what's important at Team Lakay is that all the guys are studying as well for various careers in a life after fighting.
Hexigetu's getting pumped up. Now he's trying to take the center circle. This is what he needs to do early. He's not throwing anything. He's just making sounds. He's got to get in there and start throwing. But it's also throwing Adiwang off. Adiwang's a little bit dead shy too.
Brown kick high one there from Lito Adiwang. Overhand right from Hexigetu. Folks, we're just a few seconds away from our main show beginning in 154 countries around the world. Make sure you join us. Check your local TV guides, and of course on the One Super app on the BR Live channel on YouTube. Check us out. One Championship Revolution is about to go down. Folks, we'll have the result for this one to you shortly. But for now, it's time to tune in to our main card. It's time, live from the Singapore Indoor Stadium, for One Championship Revolution.
3 world titles, 1 epic night. Christian Lee crushed the toughest challengers.
It's the shot! It's the fader! It's Christian Lee!
He commands the division.
I'm the best lightweight in the world.
But Yoon wants to take over.
네, 이제는 저를 세계에 알릴 수 있는 좋은 계기가 된
The fastest knockout record holder, Capitan, shoots for another highlight finish.
아예 막 들어왔습니다.
But Hexigetu has other plans.
It's good!
He cannot stop me.
Night freaking Irene!
And Joshua Paccio and Yosuke Saruta clash for the 3rd time to settle their rivalry once and for all.
He got my belt, I got it back. I'm the only one strawweight champion in the world.
地獄にするって感じですかね。ワンのベルトを自分がまた奪い取るっていう。
One revolution starts now.
City, Singapore is ready to roar like never before. 3 world title fights on one crazy night of action. Welcome to One Championship Revolution. Wherever you're watching in 154 countries around the world, get set for the night of nights. Hello everybody, Michael Chevello. Great to be here in Singapore. I'm joined by my verbal sparring partner, the Dragon, Mitch Jolson. Dragon star-studded tonight from top to tail. All our megastars are under the same roof tonight, including Victoria Lee, who tries to remain undefeated. Amir Aliakbari, the return of Martin Nguyen, and then of course our triple main event. 3 world title fights, Pagio, Capitan and Christian Lee defending their crowns. Christian Lee has looked so confident in his media interviews. He looks confident here tonight at the Singapore Indoor Stadium. And why shouldn't he be? This young warrior has almost cleaned out the entire division. He has beaten every man in the top 5 bar 1, and that's the man he takes on tonight, Dragon, the incredible Oh Ray Yun.
The Warrior has ruled over the entire lightweight division with an iron fist, with a blend of aggression and explosiveness that is unmatched inside the lightweight division. Can he continue this unbelievable streak and get rid of one of the most dangerous opponents he has ever faced? Christian Lee is a problem.
I tell you who's a problem, this man, Oh Ray Yun. Can you believe that Oh Ray Yun, Dragon, has already defeated 2 former world champions? Can you make it 3 world champions in a row?
It was back-to-back. The month of April was absolutely incredible for Oh Ray Yun. He displays incredible takedown defense, beautiful counter-striking. Oh Ray Yun could be the solution to the problem that is Christian Lee.
Folks, also tonight, the Bantamweight Kickboxing Championship of the World. Capitan puts the gold on the line against the counter-striking of Mehdi Zaitoun. You talk about all-out blistering power, and this man has it. The great Capitan. You want to see what Capitan does? It'll only take a few seconds. Check this out. It's the fastest knockout in one Super Series history. And it only took 6 seconds and 1 punch. Mitch, the greatest knockout we have ever seen.
The one punch that was heard around the world. Capitan is a brilliant striker. He has so much power. The way that he is able to circle people into that power and then lay them out is incredible. I cannot wait to see what happens in this title match.